I sit close to the fire as it settles into itself, embers folding inward like tired hands. Smoke drifts low, carrying the scent of peat and rain-soaked wool. Outside, the night breathes gently, and the road has gone quiet at last. This story was old when the inn first learned its own name, and it asks only that you listen as one might listen to rain on a roof, without hurry. The wayside inn stood where two roads agreed to rest. One road came down from the hills, narrow and patient. The other followed the river's bend, broad enough for carts and doubts alike. Travellers reached the door at dusk, when boots were heavy and words grew spare. They found a low room, a long table, and a fire that never quite decided to be strong. There was a habit kept there. No one stirred the hearth after sunset. The keeper would lay the last peat at twilight and leave it be. Guests were told gently, with a smile that did not argue. The fire was allowed to fade as it wished. And another habit followed the first. When rain came soft and steady, no one asked where the roads led next. Two questions lived quietly under the rafters. Why did the fire refuse to die outright, even when the room fell to murmurs and sleep? And why did those who stayed the night wake with their journeys lighter, though nothing had been said? The inn listened. It listened to coats drying, to spoons touching bowls, to the river talking to itself beyond the walls. Rain stitched the dark together, thread by thread. Each drop found its place. The fire answered in small clicks, a language of patience. Travellers learned the rhythm. They ate, they warmed their hands. They spoke of what could be spoken and left the rest in their throats. The keeper moved like a tide that knows the shore, never rushing, never late. When someone reached for the poker out of habit, a look would pass, kind, firm-handed, the hand would fall away. Silence did its work. Night after night, the fire dimmed to a red eye. Night after night, it held. Its glow did not push back the dark. It welcomed it. Shadows grew long and friendly. The rain softened every edge, even the thoughts that had come in sharp. A carter once sat alone long after the others had gone upstairs. He watched the hearth as if it might speak. His road had been a hard one. He had counted every mile with his teeth clenched. The fire answered him without words, a slow settling, a breath out. He slept where he sat, and in the morning his hands shook less. The repetition mattered. The rule mattered. No stirring, no urging the coals to be more than they were. The inn taught this without teaching it. Those who fought the rule felt restless. Those who let it be found their backs easing, their minds unknitting one small knot at a time. Rain was a companion. It did not knock. It waited at the window, tapping only when invited by thought. The sound became a blanket. Even the river lowered its voice to listen. Once, a young traveller asked why the fire was left to dwindle. The keeper shrugged, not unkindly. Because it knows how to rest, he said, and went on with his wiping. I have seen that fire when the room was full and when it was bare. I have felt the moment when it recognized me and chose not to hurry. Time passed as it does when no one insists on measuring it. The fire grew thin, a lace of heat. The rain leaned closer. Somewhere in the rafters, a beam sighed. The presence did not arrive. It had always been there. The dying fire was not an ending but a place to set things down. The soft rain did not wash away. It stayed. Travellers slept deeper than they meant to. Dreams came without chase. In those dreams, roads were not lines to be followed, but wide fields where one could stop and sit. Morning found boots where they had been left. Shoulders straightened. Words came easier, or not at all. There was no tale told aloud about why it worked. The inn did not trade in explanations. It offered rest between journeys and nothing more. The fire, faithful in its refusal, glowed just enough to be a promise kept. When dawn came, it came quietly. The rain loosened its grip. The fire gave one last, small sound, like a door closing without a latch. Those who woke felt the day waiting without leaning in. I leave you with the image of that hearth at its gentlest, red on red, rain whispering its name. If the fire still feels warm, there are other nights where it waits.